Welcome. You're listening to the Leading Hope Podcast. My name is VJ Williams, here with my friend and pastor Kevin Jack. Thank you for joining us, taking time out of your day to become a better leader. If you're new, we release a new episode every Wednesday. So glad to have you. The easiest way to get that every week is download it on your favorite podcast platform. Also, share this on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube every week. It's an awesome way to get this in front of so many more leaders just like you. And rate and review on where? Apple Podcast. That's right, Kevin. Good job. A few extra minutes will absolutely help you get this podcast in the hands of so many more leaders. And visit leadinghope.online to get updates, find out more about the Leading Hope community. Today, Kevin, is episode 213. We're not
213.
We're not looking
Oh,
up
I
area
know.
codes.
I want to.
Oh, you want to look up
I
area
want
codes
to.
today? The last one, 212, 212 was the Manhattan area code.
Yeah.
Which you
L.A.
LA is no way. We just
That's
went
really weird.
That is weird. We just went all the way across
How
the
do
country.
they put together area codes?
I don't know. Now you want to know, don't you?
We probably shouldn't take the time to research that.
But you will. Can you come back with like some other time and tell us?
Yeah.
There's gotta be an
I'm
illustration
fascinated
there.
that they went from New York to L.A.
It's wild. All right. So 213, and you've titled this, The Deception of Accomplishment. Yikes.
Dallas is the 214.
The 214.
My concern now is that not only have we distracted ourselves, but we've distracted our entire podcast audience. They're just like...
It sounds like the deception
The deception
of
accomplishment.
Ah.
Yeah, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking you're going to really hurt some people's feelings with this one because...
No, we're not. No, we're good.
Okay.
That's
good.
overstated.
I mean, I just know like accomplishment-driven people.
Yeah. I don't
In a
mean
good
it
way.
like spiritual, personal fulfillment and accomplishment.
Good.
Cool. So we're not headed down that road.
Got it.
That would we'll tackle that on a Sunday morning.
There we go. Good.
So here's just real simply the deception of accomplishment is that accomplishment is a lagging indicator.
That's good.
So we have lead indicators, we have lagging indicators. Accomplishment is a lagging indicator. The award, the diploma, all these other things. Like you go through, like, let's just make it real simple on a diploma. Like the conferral, I think that's the word that they use.
Yeah.
Like we confer upon you. I think I might have made it up a word, but the conferral.
That's all right.
We confer.
I said eventful or intense.
Intenseful. Yep.
Yeah.
So we're rolling on this.
We're just making up words.
Once we had the
Leading Hope.
podcast on intense words, we decided we're going to make up our own. These aren't enough.
These are intense.
This episode is going to be fantabulous. So can't wait for this today.
Oh.
So we confer upon you this degree.
Okay.
Means you have already completed everything that was necessary to get the degree.
Got it.
And there is a gap between when you've done everything that is necessary and when you actually receive your degree.
Okay.
Sometimes there's not a long gap, like I'm talking days. But my point is that like the accomplishment, the awareness, the reward, the award, all those other things comes last once you've already done it.
Yeah.
And so I think people can get caught up in this idea that they think people's awareness of what they've done is the same as them doing something significant.
Oh, that's good.
And so it is like, I don't know, it is, I don't realize that I got better until someone tells me I got better. I don't feel validated that I lost weight until someone tells me.
Did you lose weight?
Exactly. And so there's this like thought of to say like, I need other people's awareness of what I've done to feel like I've done something. And the problem is like that will always come last. The great problem is sometimes it will come much later.
Yeah.
Like sometimes that gap isn't like I completed classes and then 2 days later I got the degree. Sometimes it could be years later that people are aware of what you've done, what you've accomplished, the significance of who you are. And if you need other people's validation, if you need their awareness in order to feel like you've done something significant, sometimes you will give up once you've already done it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
Like you did it.
That's it.
You accomplished it.
Yep.
You're there.
Check mark.
No one noticed. I gave up. It's just like, You didn't need their validation that you are a good leader, that you have changed as a person, that you're more kind as an individual, that you've increased in this skill. You don't need their validation in order for you to have actually arrived, for you to have done something significant. And so don't count on that as the piece. So that's truly in its nature. That's the deception of accomplishment, is we think accomplishment is arrival, and arrival happened long before other people noticed that we arrived.
Got it. It's good.
And so I was reading this new Adam Grant book that the title of the book escapes me, which is just horrific in this moment. But one of the key things he talks about in the book that I just loved so much, because we've talked about this many times, of like identity first, outcome later. Like, it's who you are and then it's what you do. And one of the things he talked about in terms of the skill of learning, not the skill of accomplishing, but the skill of developing in order to accomplish, is he talks about like the character virtues that are a prerequisite if you're going to be a learner. They're like, you cannot develop and grow and arrive if you don't have curiosity, if you don't have perseverance, if you're not willing to be, like, some of this is like, just give it the broad base of humility, but to make it more specific, if you're not willing to learn from people who are unlike you, or willing to learn from people, ready? This is the one that really gets, are you willing to learn skills from people who you don't like? I love that the most.
Yeah.
Like, we're not saying you have to acquire their character.
Right.
In order to acquire their knowledge.
It's good.
And not everyone who's done something significant has great character. I'm not saying go treat your spouse the same way, but I am saying you can learn from them on how to do this specific thing. And so one of the things he talked about is he said, like, the people who have these character virtues in place, they are destined, in essence, sorry, this is now my language. Right. I'm not trying to, but people are destined to accomplish. They're destined to become. And so the real key is the acquisition of virtue, the development of that virtue, which will inevitably lead to these better outcomes.
Yeah. So just break this down a little bit, another level, just so we can understand completely of what you're saying. There's personal accomplishment. Are you talking about personal accomplishment? Or are you talking about more than that?
So let me say it.
Because the world will say things to people, and I say the world, I'm just like in everyday society, that person is accomplished.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's not always great. That's not always bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's both.
Yeah.
Depending on what it is. Break it down in terms of that for someone listening that may not completely understand what you're saying when we say accomplishment or accomplished.
What I want to, let me know if this adequately answers what you're after, is what I want to be able to communicate to people is in the true moments that are defining, you're the only one who's going to know.
Got it.
And we think the thing that matters is when people are aware and they celebrate. That's not the piece that matters. It is the moments that define you that you realize you've got to do something different, you've got to change, or you're already there.
Got it.
And because we do not have a heightened awareness, so I'm trying to think through some examples within my own life. Like I've shared before, talking about like how the time I used COVID to completely redesign how I speak and understand the language, and I'm able to teach others. That was a defining moment for me.
Right.
Now, it was a process. When I say like defining moment, like it was like 6 months, 9 months within there. But like no one was there. I was the only one who was there.
Yeah. So I get what you're saying. So you're talking more not just about the as the deception is the accomplishment. It's the choice to do what you needed to do way before the accomplishment ever comes.
Absolutely. That is the significant thing.
Yeah.
And so like if I pull it all the way back.
But people aren't worried about the decision to do it. They're worried about what they get from it.
That's a great point. So like you look at like who is the guy recently? Hal Elrod. He's He's the Miracle Morning guy.
Come again?
Yeah. I think I said it right. Maybe I've put it. No, yeah, it is. It's Hal Elrod.
Okay.
He wrote the book The Miracle Morning.
Okay.
And one of the things he talked through like making sales calls, that he knew if he made a certain number of sales calls, he would get a certain number of sales.
Okay.
And so he's like, the problem was,
Percentage game.
yeah, is he'd go, I was in this thing where like I'd make a call and they'd say no, and I'd be gloomy and down, and I'd wait 30 minutes to pick up the phone again, or I'd make a good call and they'd have a sale, and I'm like celebrating, and now I'm losing time even more. And he goes, the day I realized that I can do what I want to accomplish is the day I committed myself that I'm going to make this many calls no matter what, and I have the expectation that the percentages are going to bear out.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. That is the moment that he set sales records for his company.
That day.
That was like that moment is the moment it happened because no one else was doing it.
Yeah.
Now, the actual accomplishment and awareness is a lagging indicator.
Right.
It didn't happen until significantly later.
Yeah.
But that is the moment that should be celebrated.
Good. That's
And
good.
so I just don't think we are not aware at all of these moments in our lives because we think that other, like I always say it as the map in my wife's van. Sometimes we use the Apple CarPlay. Sometimes we use the like built-in map. Is like is a little slow. And so like we'll like get home, pull in the garage. I'm ready to turn the car off, and it's like at that moment
You have
arrived. Like, I've been here. Like, I've already been here.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to communicate to people is just to go, like, if you don't realize you're already there when you've developed. Now, still, time has got to bear out. You've got to run with it. If you're waiting for the moment for people to celebrate you, you're not going to be aware of what matters most. And you're also likely to give up if that accomplishment lags long enough. And it's just like, well, I'm doing this and no one notices. I'm doing this and no one cares. You don't need for them to care to know you're doing something significant.
Yeah, it's almost as if, and it's almost as if, first of all, when we sell, not everything needs to be everyone needs to be included on the celebration.
Yes.
But it's almost as if individually, a celebration may not be the right word. Somehow internally to ourselves, we celebrate the decision on the front end.
Yes.
As much
Yes.
as what happens because that decision happened.
Yes.
The accomplishment. And we don't do that enough.
Yep.
And therefore we not end up finishing
Yes.
and even getting to the accomplishment. Or sometimes playing it up too much on the other end. But I don't know what that is. I don't put a finger on it, and maybe that's for a different episode. But at the end of the day, like, I don't celebrate the decision to do something I've never done before.
Yeah.
I just
I
do
get it. So, like,
Like, does that make sense? Like, I don't go, hey, I'm going to build this thing. I don't go, all right, yeah, I'm
Yep.
building this thing.
which I know
Because I
part
want
of
to
that.
see what the actual work, like, what is the
Yes.
thing that I'm trying to accomplish?
So here's
What's the outcome? Because that's another word for accomplishment.
here's my slightly medium-sized essay on this.
Yeah, we
Okay.
like medium-sized. 20 minutes or less.
This one's gonna be maybe about a minute.
Okay.
Is like identity is always more important than outcome
It's good.
because identity will inevitably lead to the outcome.
It's good.
If you look at like James Clear teaching on habits, to go, if you try to be a disciplined person, you'll fail. If you see these things as I am a disciplined person, I am an athlete, or I am a healthy person, then you will naturally do these. The identity piece is the piece that matters. We completely lose sight of our identity formation moments.
Good.
And we only focus on the outcome. And instead of, so ready, I want people like, we're still like pretty close to the new year. We're like January 24th. You may have been like, I want to lose 10 pounds. And you might be in the spot where like nothing's dropped.
Yeah.
Are your actions different?
Right.
Is your intention different?
Yep.
That should be celebrated.
Yep.
I want you to celebrate the healthy choice at a meal or stepping on the scale, or sorry, the healthy choice at a meal or going to the gym more than simply stepping on the scale. Because if you can celebrate the identity formation piece, the accomplishment will inevitably come. And the accomplishment is not the purpose anyway. The purpose of it is how you're different. And we only celebrate the lagging indicator instead of the piece that actually changes.
We do not do this consistently as organizations or as people. And now you just hit a huge, I just had a light bulb go off. I feel like I do this.
Yeah.
But not as freak. I'll just use our innovation team as an example. I will say we're not just trying to help people. Mm-hmm. We're also trying to become what God created us to be.
Yes.
I don't do that enough because the outcome always supersedes the process, the decision, the discipline, the things. And we have to change that if we want to go to levels we've never been.
Yeah, it's formation over outcome. Yeah. And great outcomes can never happen consistently without great formation, great identity pieces that have happened.
I can guarantee that, and I am. This is my problem as well as anyone, I would say, anybody listening or watching.
Yeah.
I bet in a week, if you had 5 meetings, like me, you are probably not saying the hill we're trying to take is also the thing we're trying to become.
Absolutely.
We're not doing that consistently in organizations.
Oh, I would just say consistently. Maybe we can insert ever.
I'm trying to be on the positive side of that.
We don't ever do that.
But if we did, how much more would we believe in what we're trying to, why we're doing what we're doing?
Not just in organizations. It's also personally.
Well, of course.
It's just to go And so like when I talk about like those moments are in isolation, I mean like a crowd isn't aware. A mass amount of people aren't aware. But to say like, I want to encourage the person. I'll stay on the physical, but there's 1,000 other things. And just to go like, hey, if your goal is to get healthier and you showed up at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. or whatever it is to the gym and you never did all last year, that's massive. Don't celebrate all the other pieces. Celebrate that.
Yeah. Because
that's massive. Because it is the forming of discipline towards a new identity, which is monumentally significant.
Yeah. I just want to, like, companies are aware of the physical, though. Like, even corporations, because the new year pops around and the HR has hired some guru service that says, hey, we're going to give you gift cards if you participate in this new
to lower our insurance rates. There we go.
Yeah, right? Like, so they're aware, but their internal language that gets down to the management or executive levels to their teams doesn't say, this is going to help you become who you were supposed to be.
Yes, exactly.
That's the missing piece. And that's individually. We don't say it on ourselves. And organizationally.
If I could oddly quote scripture in the middle of this, it's this sense of like, and this is a loose adaptation. The scripture's direct, but like my adaptation's a little loose. It is the languages. It says they worshipped worthless idols and became worthless themselves.
Woo. That's intense language.
In this sense, like if I could take it out of the context of worship and just saying thank you for the intense piece, I just want to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
But
this Jesus guy, man.
But the acknowledgement within there of just say like, when we do great things, not simply to do great things. We do great things to become great. Because you cannot do great things consistently and not be great in your character and great in your discipline and great in your care of those around you. And when we do mediocre things, we become mediocre. It's the identity before outcome. And we've said that 1,000 different times. I just want to pull people's eyes and just say, you're looking like way down the road of when people are celebrating. That's just when they're aware.
Yeah.
The change happened now.
Yeah.
Like the thing that was actually significant, the hinge point, the inflection point, the turning point in your story, it happens in isolation.
Yeah.
Make a big deal of that.
Make a big deal of that. That's fantastic. Episode 213. Any final thoughts?
This is our shout out to the people of Los Angeles. This is our episode for your area.
You went from a 20-minute to 1-minute essay to shouting out the people in LA.
Yeah. Dallas, we're coming for you next episode.
There we go. Episode 213, The Deception of Accomplishment. Thank you for joining us and taking time out of your day to become a better leader. If you haven't yet subscribed, it'd mean the world to us if you did that now. Also, post about it, rate and review. Go to Apple Podcast. If you love what we're doing, give us a 5-star rating. We would really appreciate that. It helps to get this algorithms. You guys know how this stuff works. If you've been listening for a while, we're grateful for you too. And then also just we love hearing your stories of how this podcast is working in your life or business. If you have a story, DM us or visit leadinghope.online. We would love to hear from you. And remember, everyone has 20 minutes to learn to become a better leader. Make it count. Woo!